All right, let's do this. All right. There it is. We made it. Welcome back, guys. DeltaFi, Wednesday afternoon in the lab. Toronto skyline, although it doesn't look like that right now. It's hazy. It's hot. It's 33 degrees Celsius. And I'm just happy to be here, man. Happy to be here. Those of you guys know why Rob's smiling right now, aside from the fact the market's going up and his prediction about Messi being bullish this week is bang on. I just had a baby.
He did.
I just had a baby.
He's here doing DeltaFi.
A new wee lad. And we were not expecting until late September. So it was early. It was crazy. It was like 4 a.m. And it's just been like for the last 2 days. But I just ripped home from the hospital because it's like 10 minutes away. And I was like, it's fucking DeltaFi time, baby. We got everything we need. Baby's in good spot. Lady's sleeping. I found a window. So good to have you guys back, man. I've never been happier to be here. How are you guys doing? Messi, it's good to see you. Not like, weird shaved head bear Messi, but like Crypto Messiah. Crypto Messiah is in the house.
We're back, at least for the time being. For me, I was definitely just, the market was so strong. I remember being in a short position, from lower, and I remember watching it. I know how the bears feel right now. And I'm not a stupid pervert. Like, I know how to flip bias. If I'm wrong, I can adjust. I'm okay with that.
Yep.
But I still remember, it went up, and in the past, I've always used 1x leverage. So, if you're wrong in a 1x leverage position, most of the times you're just like, fuck, I'm wrong. When it dips down, fucking get the fuck out of this, and everything's cool, right? Well, Ethereum just kept grinding. It just kept grinding up. There was no dip. It never gave an opportunity. And I think what that did was create a situation where it continued to grind up. The liquidity was significantly improved, through a variety of factors. And, people just kept shorting it on the way up. And as it continued to grind up, we continued to liquidate. And then more people shorted. And then we grinded up more. And eventually, the outcome of this grinding was the reclaim of levels that I'm not sure, never say never, but I'm not sure levels that will be lost, before we have some kind of blast off. So for me, the final rug risk, of course, I've been very concerned about the situation and, the equities markets and things like that. A lot of smart people, have been on this deflationary shock stance and in cash positions, including some hedge fund guys that I know. It doesn't look like that's the case now. It kind of looks like a disinflation scenario now, if I'm understanding this correctly. Which in terms of tech growth and stuff like that is going to be fantastic. And, I would suppose that you could lump crypto kind of into that loosely, maybe. So I just had to bite the bullet on Monday. I told myself that, I would either end up getting to buy lower, or if certain conditions were met, I could buy into strength, and that ended up being the outcome there. So I had to, I was watching on Monday. I figured if there was going to be a dip, Monday was going to be my opportunity to get in, and it was then or never. And as much as honestly, it made me sick to my stomach, to buy in. Reversing biases is an incredibly difficult thing to do.
It is, like selling late on the dump or buying late on the early. It's actually a sign of I think wisdom, like trader wisdom. Like how many times I've been stuck where you just miss the best entry and then you just miss the whole fucking rally.
Yeah, and I was thinking to myself, and I had already made a promise to myself that, if this just continues to grind up, if everything continues to look good, you have to just bite the bullet, and you have to change. You've got to switch biases. You've got to hop in. Because I could never forgive myself with potential opportunities like this if I was sidelined. It would just.
That's I talked about on Hero Labs Live. Look, a wise trader once said, being wrong, it's not a big deal. We're going to do it all the time. Staying wrong is a choice, and staying on the wrong side of a move once there's clear objective reasoning. Now, I thought there was last week, obviously, and from a risk reward perspective, I thought there was last month, but there's different traders. I know like Don Alt and stuff, they're a solid trader, but he's going to wait for the trend reversal. He's going to wait for 42 to get reclaimed before he longs it. That's his style, and he probably didn't lose $1 waiting for that. So, there's just different strokes for different folks. I'm glad to have you back. Axis is at $71. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Jesus.
I mean, the revenue stuff, all that. That's a cool proxy. I'm not going to trade that. It's on its third wave up.
You remember when we said, what kind of chart is it going to be? Is it going to be AXS coming out of this thing? Is it going to be Axes? When we were talking about Ethereum, this was it kind of the heart of the bear when it was looking bleak. That Axes chart, crazy. But Messi brought up the ETH chart at the beginning. Man, is that thing just going to go to new highs? Is it going to just go test it? Because it didn't.
Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. Is my audio capture grabbing this? Yeah, it is. Oh, damn it, guys. Sorry.
What?
Everyone in here, I think there was an echo that whole time. I just noticed it's grabbing my audio capture twice. Okay, we're good, guys.
Dan's in the audience. You're slacking, Dan. You're slacking.
Gunny made it home from the hospital to get to this episode. Where are you? What's your excuse, bro? Sorry, Rob. Continue.
No.
Your audio is clear now.
Still saying there's an echo.
We were looking.
No, there isn't. It's gone now. Yeah.
We were looking at that Axis chart at the depths of hell in the bear market, and when we were talking about recovery, and usually you would think, listen, this is all a game of probabilities anyway.
Hey, Rob, the echo is horrific.
Oh shit. Okay, guys, give me a sec. No more talking. There's no echo on mine, so let me talk. Everyone, shut up. I'm going to find this. Damn it. This was our audio engineering win week, too. Oh, well. We'll get it. Yeah, it's back. It's good now. I fixed it. You
think so?
Guaranteed. Yeah, I found it. It's the... When I do a screen capture and it... Yeah, no, you're good.
Luna.
Give me 4 letters that rhyme with bull market. No, we're good. Yeah, so basically, guys, when the screen capture thing gets all messed up and it resets, it defaults to audio capture on. It capture, so it's hearing what I hear, which is them twice. So anyways,
gotcha.
At least I know what it is, and just remember to check it once in a while.
Yeah, we were just, that Axis chart in the depths of this little bear market, we're thinking, how is this thing going to come out of it? We're all super long-term bullish. How long is this consolidation pattern? You look at all history and stuff. It's all a probability game. No one knows. And how this thing was going to come out of consolidation, is it going to be drawn out? Are we going to fake down and then pop? Nobody fucking knows. But
man, I got to say this, and this is kind of what I feel like. Every season is kicked off by something.
Every season's kicked off by a hash ribbons buy signal, which we got this week. Anyways, continue.
If you look at the beginning of DeFi summer, and you look at some of the things that catalyze the rest of the market to move, we're looking at YFI, of course, but there's others as well, right? You also had Hex, which people don't talk about because they hate it.
Yeah.
But Hex was a major catalyst for all of that.
It was 380,000% this year or something.
Yeah, but okay, now I'm low. Oh, Jesus. All right, hold on.
Get your shit together.
I know. I'm fucking
shit. All right. Okay, see, I'll tell you guys, Wirecast has a
Hey.
Okay, settle down. You're going to blow their ears up again. I turned you down, then you turned yourself up, and then I turned you up. So just, you keep doing your thing. I got the levels here. Testing.
Oh my god, this whole episode is just gonna be us fucking with the mics.
No, go back to where you were. You're not low.
You know what? I'm gonna get with you after this stream, and you know what? Ledger Status has been making fun of me for my Blue Yeti microphone. I thought I was doing it big when I bought this because it was $100.
No,
but obviously the microphone's garbage.
You got to get the this.
Yeah, one. I'm gonna get the one you have.
Sure, SM7B. It's the one Joe Rogan uses. That's good enough for us. Okay?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Shit.
It's the best one you'll ever have.
But the point being, if you could do this for me, you know, because right now you've got that initial history of the AXS chart compressed. So here's my new theory about everything. You know, originally when this Bitcoin dump happened, you know, I was thinking to myself in the sense, not of an extended bear market, but almost a black swan for Bitcoin. And we see, you know, with black swans that, you know, what would have been the case if all this, you know, China miner shit had never happened? You know, what would this have looked like? If you guys recall, one of the really interesting things that was going on is we were seeing the early phases of rotation to DeFi before that dump. And you could see some of these DeFi projects were even, you know, breaking into price discovery again. You know, we were making new all-time highs. So if you look at that AXS chart, you know, I think that chart is kind of representative. It almost looks like the Bitcoin chart, almost exactly, in my opinion. You know, you've got that kind of 3-drive structure up at the top. You've got the dump. You've got that kind of grindy sideways price action. And then it's just fucking blast off after that.
So it's like, Bitcoin does this.
If you're thinking about this Bitcoin, you know, dump, this China shit in terms of a black swan, you know, if you think about what happened in, you know, March 2020, in terms of a black swan, what normally happens after the black swan has occurred? Well, it's back to business as usual, and it's usually pretty fucking aggressive because the thing is an event like that shakes everybody out. And now we're in a situation, I feel like, to where everybody's been extra shaken out of DeFi because DeFi is extra dead. Everybody's having fun flipping JPEGs, you know, and more power to you. We've got a lot of friends that I've got friends that have turned like 3 ETH into 200 in like 2 weeks. It's just stupid. Yeah. But fuck yeah. I mean, that's awesome. You know, seriously, I'm not salty. Like, I'm very happy for them. It's just not my thing.
Look,
Axis DeFi charts look like AXS right now. You know,
they like pre-pump.
Blast the fuck off. Yeah. And that fits the whole big DeFi bubble theory. And we've got a small window to do this. You know, because at some point Bitcoin is going to fuck everything. At some point, it's inevitable.
Yeah,
I think
like
so.
For sure.
Maybe
no,
not.
guaranteed at some point. Guaranteed.
Maybe not.
It's just
at some point
look,
we're going to see that rotation.
It's just that, and I'll tell you this: one of the things I've started doing that is really helped me out as a trader is recognizing my psychological state and the psychological state of the market. And the reason that I bring that up now is we talked about this on stream. The other stream, Here Labs Live. Basically, we had like a full cycle through here, right? Where you have the complacency shoulder, then the anxiety, the panic, the capitulation. You can see it on the chart here with the volume. We had anger through here. I mean, tell me there wasn't like a ton of anger on Twitter. People were getting roasted. Influencers were getting banned. You know, people were getting thrown off roofs. Like, it was insane. And then there was like a depression phase right here where it was just like, oh my God, we're going to go so low. And now it's just this disbelief.
I mean, tell me that doesn't look exactly like the AXS chart, though.
It does. It absolutely does.
Yeah. Like a barometer.
That'd be cool. I hadn't actually looked at that, but now that
I'm going to pull up the timestamp where I said this, and I said it to you, Messi. I'm going to pull it up. We can easily pull out of this like the AXS chart. I'm telling you, we're going to go to the tape. We're going to go to the tape, and because I'm with you. That was a probability outcome. To me, it was a higher probability outcome. Maybe it was a more hopium, but holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you ever wanted to be like, can we get out? The crazy thing about AXS is like the volume on this final sell-off here, like it wasn't even that high. Maybe we have to go to the futures where they got, you know, like liquidated through, but I love that. And this is the thing. Somebody asked me today, they said, you know, for the coins that are up into these short reload zones, which I always mark in the charts, am I going to be shorting? And my quick answer was no. And the reason is, obviously, like you said, I don't know how I was going to say like you said, but basically we're getting into this like heading towards new highs. Either we're in a bear and we get up here and we fail, or we just had a 3-month reaccumulation phase through this, which is what we saw on the charts. You know, the hash ribbons just fired a buy signal, and if you look here, it's almost always firing a buy signal before like a big stupid rally or continuation. And so when I have a signal like that, I don't get so worried up in those short reload zones. And what I bet is that what I am more likely to do is get out of a really good position early rather than hold one too long. And Axis would have done it to me if I tried to short that here, because, you know, you did have a red day, you're like, yeah, and then you just get nuked, and then you're catching up for, you know, a
that
long
sort
time.
of thing. That sort of thing, you can't win if you're short on something like this. I mean, you can't, believe me.
You can scalp short, you can hedge out, win for a week or a weekend, but then you're going to look back and it's going to be like a 382 tag you were shorting into. You didn't close your short, and then it gets blown out. One thing that I do want to stress is that for anyone who's not already into positions, I mean, there's some really good looking charts out there that, you know, averaging in like Messi is, you know, waiting for the breakout. Like anyone who didn't want to buy Solana on that bear, I mean, you had your breakout retest here, you had your breakout retest here. There's ways to get in, but you have to come with a plan, because if it's the green days like today, and I haven't been looking that much, I literally just showed up to my desk. Yeah, like I just showed up to my desk like 10 minutes ago, so I haven't seen every chart, but I see the percentages on the leaderboards, and they're all just double-digit green. So days like today, it's easy to be like, oh, all my stables, get them in. But often, more often than not, what's going to happen is that when that next little pullback comes like this, which was like all last weekend basically, you're going to start to shake yourself out, and then you'll end up selling 382s and for stops and pullbacks, pump chaser zones, where you probably want to be to load. So for me right now, if I have dry powder, which I have like one tranche left, I'm not putting it in, you know, on this chart here today. If you guys follow me on Twitter at randomtask555, you saw me dollar cost averaging in here, bought some here, added some here, added some here. Like, I'm buying the dips on Solana. I think this is a $100 coin easily. I think it's probably got some stupid numbers in it, like $500, $1,000. I'm not going to go there in the predictions game, but like, yeah, I think it has massive upside. And so I'm not going to be selling this one, you know, at this short reload zone, which we've arrived at today. So fully knowing we're going to probably get it up in here and consolidate for a bit. Consolidation can feel scary when it happens, because it's like, oh, I'm up so much. Oh, my P&L just dropped so much. Ooh, I'm up so much. Like, you know, but when we resolve this, it's either going to fail and drop down in, and I'll have to eat shit and maybe get out and have a smaller profit. But I think odds on are that we end up to new highs this year. It just seems like a much higher probability. And then it's like, well, risk reward. You know, if I'm right big. If I'm wrong small, probably still in profit. And then if I start shorting here, you know, I'm right.
The thing is, I mean,
small,
everybody knows Bitcoin's going to 100K, right? I mean, I feel like, you know, in the past, I mean, well, in the past, like, we've always memed these targets, and you know, I think real like hardcore Bitcoiners are even saying shit higher than that. You know, the probability of us
I'm saying higher than that.
I'm saying is greater than 50%. You know, I don't know how the market's priced that, but I would estimate that probably, especially, you know, considering we've got December ahead of us. You know, we just kind of got the green light, you know, from CPI today. It was a big day for that. Like, I really just think that, you know, Rob was saying earlier, you know, and I made fun of, like, oh, it's a new paradigm. Maybe it just fucking is. Like, I don't fucking know. You know what's going on. If you look at the volume profile on something like Bitcoin, though, it does support continuation. You know, you've got that capital B shaped profile. Now, the top part of it does need to get filled in a little bit. And I would imagine that that's going to be our window of opportunity, really, when we see, you know, potentially DeFi get aggressive here. Something that's happening that I didn't think would happen is we're seeing shitcoins rally too, which is interesting to me. You know,
like along with DeFi on your cross.
Yeah. They
Let's
look
pull
good.
that up. I want to see that cross.
Which is interesting, because I thought Doge looked like dog shit, and it's going up, you know, along with everything else. And I mean, the thing is here is, like I said earlier, you know, we've got a very narrow potential window for Bitcoin to do something. Of course, Ethereum's burned a lot of ETH. Ethereum's not even at a fraction of what it can be, though, in terms of how much it's burning. Like, there's so much more.
Yeah, like when DeFi starts chugging
Yeah,
That was a big catalyst here. I mean,
I think so too.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain. We talked about EIP-1559, and during the bull, when things were raging hot, you know, you had said you thought it would be a sell the news type of thing. We got the sell the news event. We got the major sell-off way before it came out. But, you know, there's that, the other side of it, which is market structure, market positioning. And this market was really flat to short. I mean, all the funding rates were kind of leaning negative. There was no real money in there. And the results were very well received and very positive. It's burning a shit ton of Ethereum. And
Shit ton, dude, it's already burned $100 million worth of Ethereum. I mean, what the fuck?
That
is insane.
That's like, it's crazy. And I think, you know, there's going to be people who will say, well, it's been the NFT craze has been pushing it. And yes,
it's barely been pushing it. Like, shit.
There's always going to be something, you know, like this is, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild.
No, I totally thought that was a sell the news event, and I couldn't have been more wrong about that. It happened. It went through. It was smooth and right there. And I remember right when it went through, like there was a few really hot NFT mints. So the numbers that came out of you know, those burn calculators were just fucking nuts. Yeah. And I still remember just looking at it, you know, once again, just in disbelief, like, holy fucking shit. Like,
yeah,
is this actually happening, you know, right now? Like, this is absolute madness.
Yeah.
And RT, if you wouldn't mind, you know, after this, I wanted to point something out about that DeFi divided by shit curve chart.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to
rounded bottom right there.
Oh, rounded bottom. Yeah, I love fat bottoms.
Oh, yeah.
And look at this. This is what we've been waiting on. You know, even last week I was like, okay, like, you know, we got a pump on the Oracle news. But now we've got the bulls waking up. We've got the volume coming in. People are starting to FOMO into this a little bit, seeing like, because there's a lot of traders who are waiting for this level to get reclaimed, and now it's been reclaimed. So I'm feeling great about ID. I actually added to it on this reclaim the other day, just before the baby was born. I was kind of aping in, and that's the thing again. I was like, that next morning, I was like, oh, it was like 1 a.m. I was like, just gonna go to bed. I'll add some more in the morning from like other bags that I didn't, you know, it takes forever on Uniswap to switch everything into something. Well, I didn't get a chance to add, but you know what? It's 51. I think I was adding at 45, so I'll be all right. But yeah, this thing, it looks great. And so always coming out of this kind of a drawdown, you know, first areas of interest is up into that 5% or 50% retrace, which happens to align perfectly with this high here. And so that's the level I'll be watching, $1.24, get into that short reload zone. But ultimately, I think we should be heading into new highs, and new highs look like fib extensions. So that's going to be right up here. And fibs are a little less clean on ChartX Pro because I don't have the templates. But
I got to be honest, man. After that structure played out, if all we get is just a retest of previous ATH, I would be severely disappointed.
Oh yeah, me too. And I'm not selling here. It's just like that's an area I want to see, right? And you usually will see something like this, and then it's like, ooh, and then it's, you know, you do usually get the traders who are trading that zone, and that's okay. You know, trading that zone back here worked really well, right? The fib extension.
I love it when you draw squigglies.
Yeah, I know. My squigglies are my favorite.
They're really good.
But like, look, if you traded that fib extension back here, you know, you were selling. And this thing, I remember the days because it was like 4 hour. It was just wicking into this. People were just taking profits at $2. And if they play both sides of the market, you know, they got back in. They quadrupled their bag. So there's nothing wrong with trading this coin. But I am, you know, I held it through all this. I added through this. I'm looking for the moon. I'm looking for $1 billion plus market cap. This is an investment.
I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I'm pumped. So it feels good. And like all this talk of regulation, I mean, these guys are one of the solutions for that. You know, I asked Bob straight up on Twitter the other day. I said, you know, if this goes through, if DeFi participants all have to KYC, if wallets have to be regulated, and he's like, yeah, we have a solution for that. He's not cheering for that, but he sees the writing on the wall. They're setting themselves up for it. And one of their many products is that they'll be able to KYC wallets, compliant, and then without showing who you are, you can still participate in DeFi, just knowing that you've passed all that. So That's
so one
massive.
interesting thing about, everything that's been going on in the Senate, et cetera, et cetera. I want to talk about this from a timeline perspective. Of course, this news, I think, was kind of like a black cloud over, the shitcoin DeFi markets. And of course, we had, this douche from Alabama, unfortunately, Senator Shelby, who blocked the amendments that would have righted the wrongs in this infrastructure package when it came to cryptocurrencies. So one of the interesting things that I noted, and just something, once again, because I'm here as somebody that really, it made me sick to buy. It makes you sick to buy when you have to buy higher, me at least, because I'm not used to being in that situation.
It's really hard to do.
It's very difficult to do. And I saw, when that passed, that was like the final thing for me that I was like, okay, that and the CPI, I was like, if something is going to rug this, like, that's a candidate, that could go through, that could pass, that could get signed, and then the market rugs. And it didn't. It dipped down, and it was just bought right back the fuck up, when the second it dipped down, you've got all the bears on Twitter posting, blah, 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 and all this. I mean, literally instant. It's back up. That's fucking strong. That's strength. That's crazy strength.
A sick retest too. I mean, yeah. And so here's the thing, going back to that psychological state, when you're in that sort of disbelief, and I did it last week, and I said I wouldn't, and I did it. I put on 2 short hedges, on like way too low of a time frame, maybe like an hourly. I don't know where I was at, like, right here, we kind of swept and dumped. I said, okay, I'm going to short that short reload zone. Okay, it worked out. Didn't close it because I had, but what's the better risk reward, right? Is not trying to like, oh, short here, get blown out, short here, get blown out, just to hedge your position. I really have to switch into bull. We're in a bull trend. So when these come in, I shouldn't be thinking like, oh, thank God I have my short hedge on. I should be thinking like add to my longs. And that's something that I get stuck doing. And the time that I finally get into that mode where I'm like, okay, that's it, I'm adding to my longs, is usually near the end of the leg. So I've been going through that this week. We had a short a swing failure pattern there. What did it do? Didn't really do much. It just came down for like a bullish retest. And so, yeah, if we nuke, because everyone's like, oh, like we've got to pull back sometime. Yeah, okay, cool. When that happens, it's either going to be a bullish retest or it's going to squeeze up into a short reload zone anyways. And then, so like I don't have to try to guess that anymore. And I did try twice last weekend, and I gave a little bit of my gains back, not much. But
I mean, I'll be honest, it feels too good right now.
Yeah, it feels like, really good.
It feels so good. And I've kind of been feeling good for a minute just because I was still so bullish, but I was blindly bullish when shit was selling off. The thing that I always said was, look at the outside markets. Like, prices of things are just going higher, right?
Yeah, total garbage.
And you look at the Dow all-time highs. You look at the Nasdaq. You look at equities everywhere. You look at interest rates, just the 10-year continuing to move lower. There was nothing like in the grand scheme that said the prices of this stuff shouldn't be going higher. And also, like, they just went down 50% on 60% on Bitcoin and on ETH. Alts were down 80%. Those are the times in retrospect where you want to get through how nasty it feels, because you're thinking there's got to be a reason the shit's down 60-80%. Like, that's a tremendous amount. It's unheard of. It really is unheard of. But what it tells you is how truly volatile and how truly like illiquid at the core this market is. It gets and it feels liquid at times. It feels super liquid, but there's a lot of times when there's no fucking liquidity, especially on the buy side.
The rug can go, and once it's like, oh, we're a bear, it disappears. Yeah. And then, but where does it retreat to? And this is why I love TA. And people that say like TA doesn't work, I'm like, cool, like doesn't work for you, but it does work, right? You retreat to key levels. You retreat to weekly support, and that's where the bid will step in if it's going to step in. And that's what we always say, right? Get long with the good money, the strong money, the smart money. And that's where you see the big buy volume starting to seep in. My God. And it's always easy in retrospect. Like, this was not a fun place to trade. It was not easy. But I'll tell you what, Rob, it was actually your commentary along the way that it, helped me along, because I look at this and I think, okay, bounce off the lows, and then slide into that reload zone, and this is where I want to take risk, because I can always just risk to that low. And it was right around here, and you said, like, everything's going up, like globally, the markets, the value of dollar just kind of dropping, not necessarily the Dixie, but like inflation, blah, blah, blah. Assets, prices rising, like what, we're not in a risk off environment. And I was like, yeah, right. That's a good point. And then you see guys like Will Clement on Twitter talking about on-chain analytics and, who were the wallets that were dumping their coins? They were the guys who bought here recently and they were at a loss. Who were the guys who were buying the coins? The strong wallets that just keep loading up 10,000 Bitcoin. And then you're like,
yeah, because a lot of those people see what's going on elsewhere. It's like, that's why I love talking to my friends who are in the real estate market and stuff. And when they look at me and they're like, I can't tell you what the fuck's going on, but all I know is that people are outbidding one another for property, for like, when you talk to those people, that's what's going on. I mean, those are the marginal buyers who step in and be like, fuck, Bitcoin's 60% off its high. Like, I'm selling shit 10% over, 20% over list. I missed it up. I felt like I missed it when it was up there, but now I'm like, let's go. I want to.
One of the things about Bitcoin right now, I feel like, and I know you guys like to laugh when I think about things this way, but whoever, the powers that be in the Bitcoin market, there are whales that, to some extent, do largely control this market. I'm 100% convinced of that. It was now or never. And this is a bigger deal than I think people realize, because Bitcoin has grown to a certain phase in maturity to whether it's either going to be something that's going to be a very big deal or it's not. And like Rob said, when you got the rest of the market performing, everything looks great. And then there's these potential fears that when Bitcoin has really been seen by a lot of people as an uncertainty hedge. The way I've seen it framed, it was kind of a now or never type thing. And I still remember when Sam Trebeko posted, his thread about they bought more again. One of the things he said was that, equities markets recovered. Why not crypto? And that's why we're buying a shit ton more.
Yeah.
It was a now or never situation. Bitcoin had to step up. Ethereum had to step up. On
the global market.
Yeah, to be taken seriously, I think.
I agree with you.
Doing that right now. How could anybody that's not a participant in this market, how could anybody that is still sidelined in stables, and this is something that Kyle and Sue from Three Arrows were talking about. They said, dude, you guys have no idea how many people are sidelined right now. And he said, we are just going to push this shit up until they have to fucking buy.
Yeah. And that's the rocket fuel.
That could be what we're seeing now on that Ethereum chart, where you see not only this effect of people continue to short it, right? But you're also seeing the effect of increased liquidity. So even if somebody does come in and dump, a fat stack of ETH, it just gets absorbed. And in addition to that, like, you've got all this stables in the sideline that are just saying, fuck, it's now or never. It's now or never. Like, am I going to get on this ride, or am I going to watch it leave the station without me?
It's happening, and that's where you get phases in markets, right? And right now, this is the crazy thing. Like, I don't know what's going to happen up here. I do think we make new highs this year. I do think we run beyond 100K in this, whatever we're going to call it, cycle rally. However, who knows what's going to happen here? If there is going to be, usually after you recover from this rally, you do get that shakeout, and it does last a week or two, and it does really fucking scare people, and people that just made all those gains will, want to capture them, and they'll sell the dip, or guys who just bought the hot top will sell the dip. Point is, I don't think we've hit, the high for this rally. We're at the 0.5. We're at that level where I said, okay, half the rally, half the time. It came much sooner than I thought. But we haven't seen that FOMO candle yet, right? We haven't seen the wick high. We haven't seen any of that stuff. And I bet you right now, I think it's going to happen up here. And it could probably just look like a, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it's like A, B, C, and then we chill, and then we go. And we saw that back here. And that's, the whole, like, now or never, shit or get off the pot, is Bitcoin going to be a thing? I think that was back here. I think this was like, okay, Bitcoin's going to be a thing. And now we're just into an up and to the right kind of market. I'd like to be on the side of, like, we don't need 4-year cycles, 80% drawdowns, 2-year bear markets anymore. It is different. I know that's so cliche. We'll just let it happen. I don't care to make those predictions, but I really think that that's not that far out of the question. Because how much is Bitcoin worth if it's a thing, right? We go back to all the valuation models, the Moon Boy talk, and it's an easy conversation to have today when it's back up to 46 after being down to 29. But like, how much is Bitcoin worth if it's a global reserve asset, if it's a hedge against inflation, if it's all these things, if it's even 1% of the world's wealth moves into it, it's worth millions of dollars. So can it get to $100 this year? Do I have to try to call that top? Is it a thing? It's a thing. It's the cat's out of the bag. So yeah, I was just saying to my lady last night, actually, I was like, what I need to do is like take a paper wallet into like a deposit in a bank, like box office, whatever, and actually just have a couple that I hold. This cycle, that's what I'm doing, because I want my kid when he's 18 to have one, and I don't want to be like, hello son, like I sold one at 52K back in 2021. It was a great trade, kid, but sorry, Papa doesn't own one of those $10 million Bitcoins. Like whatever it's going to be, like I need 1 or 2 lingering for 10 years. Like that's
even
just
more. I'm so much more of a
longer. Come on, you gotta.
No, okay. 18. I did say, yeah, like long term. I want a trust fund one.
But you gotta have a few of those things.
Yeah,
you gotta have them.
And whatever that is, if it's a safety deposit box at a bank, $50 a month interest, like whatever it is, I need it to not be touchable, like by me ever. Because I'll see like a swing failure pattern at 300K, and I'll want to go sell it. And it'll be a great trade for 3 months, and then I won't buy it back. And
we want the Goldilocks scenario. We want fiat currencies, sovereign currencies to be just A-okay. They're printing. Everyone's cool. We're growing globally. People are eating. Everyone's...
Yeah, cost of bread goes up, but the dollar survives, and Bitcoin's $1 million. Is that too much to ask?
And that's kind of what's going to happen, because they're not going to be able to get out of the...
Because John Stamos fucking said so. Okay, right here. That's why we're here. It's why we're here. So we're going to trade the levels. I am watching up here first or next stop. I may take some off up there, but I'm generally long and strong, and I'm looking for highs.
Can you do the daily Ethereum chart?
Yep. It looks like Rinko bars.
I know. That's why I kind of want to look like it's. Look at that. It almost. The slope of this rally is less steep as the initial one, but there's also not really much leverage in the whole book in the system right now. So like if you get a push of leverage here, like you can clearly see a lot of that leverage must have built on that impulse back to all-time highs. But right now,
volume's rising. I mean,
before you put the fib retracement lines in there, take those out, because that just makes me want to kind of like you start to get into sell mode.
It's true. I shouldn't write those down as much, because they do just make me think resistance, and they're not always
right
there.
Here.
Yeah.
It almost looks like don't even think about lightening up. Like just think about
the chart and grow up.
I mean, we could be working on a nice little cup and shoulders right there.
The cup and handle.
Cup and shoulders. Beardy man. Let's go chaos.
I call it the cup and shoulders.
Let's put a little chaos
that's
in.
the two number one noob patterns is head and shoulders and cup and handle. They see them everywhere.
Could be a cup and shoulder there, eh? Let's look here, guys. Like if you just grab that consolidation and you just say, the right low to the mid high, and just give it like, what is this energy? All of this accumulation. What do you want to call it? How does that spit out into the market? And we've seen these chaos things, dude. They fuck. We can see it on Axis right here. I mean, look at the levels that this thing painted through this consolidation, right? You take the low, you take the center high. How's it going to go? Well, gets up to chaos. There's some chaos in the market, as you'd expect. And now we're just plunging like a fucking air pocket up to the next one. Expect chaos at $83. It doesn't mean a high, but like we're already kind of seeing some rejection here. But like expect something, like no more air pocket. Let's put that back on Ethereum, 4,900, 7,600. And would that be weird with 100 million burned in like what, less than a week now? Or has it been 2 weeks? I don't know. Has it been 2 weeks on this Thursday, or is that one?
I think it's been 1 week.
1 week,
right? So we're looking at burning $500 million of Ethereum, and we've got a low burn rate right now in 1 month. That's $500 million worth of Ethereum. that's
and even though that's
normally
like
going to miners that hits the market. You know, these guys
yeah,
are for
and the
profit.
miners pay expenses with it. So the miners are paying the bill right now for deflation, or whatever you want to call it, whether there's more issuance per day or not. I had one buddy who's like, dude, if there's just less Ethereum on the market, like, we create 1,800 a day and then we burn 2,600 a day, like eventually we'll run out of Ethereum. It's like, well, it's going to get super fucking, that's going to have an impact over time though. One thing I did put out last week, I said, like, just friendly reminder to anyone who's trying to like leverage along these highs is that burn is great. It's still just less than 1%. Like it's a very tiny percentage of the supply. So you can have multi-week swings within that dynamic, and I was just saying that to stop people from leveraging their friggin' mortgages at the highs, but maybe they should have. Just kidding, don't do that. We're at a resistance here. We're at a supply area on the daily. So the only thing I can do here now is wait for the next opportunity to be longer. I think that's the best way to put it. As a trader, that's all I'm doing. I'm looking for assets I can be long on or longer on, and I'm looking at levels where I can do that without breaking rules. Buying highs, breakout trading when I'm already long from below. It's not really my style. Some people make a killing doing it. I don't trade like that.
One of the really interesting things about Ethereum here is especially like if you switch it over into the monthly line chart, like we're in price discovery. When you look at it that way, there's really not a lot of established structure beyond where we're at right now. To where
that's a fun look.
Yeah, it's a fun look.
New highs.
And Ethereum almost had its own little black swan. With Vitalik. Ethereum Foundation sold a huge chunk. Vitalik dumped on all the dog coin mania people. And that was in retrospect, of course. That was the top tier. But I think what we're seeing right now is unprecedented, and it's very difficult for me. Something like what's happening on Ethereum right now has never happened before, especially at this scale, at this level, on a network this big with this much money involved. I can't be 100% sure of what the actual final picture is going to look like. It could be shocking. And I know we haven't spoken about flipping in a while, but I think that narrative is stronger than ever. I know Dan was a very strong flipping believer, earlier in the year, and this is before Ethereum had even gone to, 4,000 or whatever. I think that it's in the cards. Now, I can't imagine anything more euphoric than that. So, of course, if that does happen, then I'm going to be looking to, get out of Dodge. But still, shit.
Yeah, when the flipping talk happens, you're usually in a state of euphoria until you're not, and that's like a new paradigm. But
the actual
trading new paradigms is risky.
The most euphoric thing I can possibly imagine.
Can you imagine?
Something managed.
Look at this cluster, though. I've just been playing around while you're chatting. We've got the chaos level from like the bear market lows, all the way up to previous all-time highs. Okay, 47.71. You've got the chaos level from just this consolidation kicking out to like 46 in the same ballpark. And then you've got the fib extension from the bear market to the previous highs, recent highs, kicking out into here. I'll tell you what, this is a really interesting level up at 44 and 47. Tell me, or I'll tell you what, I think that's going to end up being like the next consolidation area. Of course, just around the local highs on the chart, candlestick charts, we'll see. We'll see some selling. We'll see people getting out with their nice little profits. But if we break to highs, 47, oh shit, it's not even that high. Damn it. It's not even that far ahead. What the hell? Oh, well. It looked cooler.
A weird-ass looking chart to me, though.
Yeah, that line chart on the monthly is weird, because look at the wick, that's why.
Yeah, the wick, that was the meme chart, was that monthly wick.
Yeah.
I
still remember you showed me that, Daniel, you showed me that chart. You're like, but look at the monthly. It looks terrible. I'm like, bro, I don't trade monthlies. I'd have to wait a year to get a setup.
We're going to go fill that thing. We're going to fill that thing.
Yeah. Wicks and tails love to be eaten, my friends.
How many times, and you can see this in previous Bitcoin bull runs especially, how many times do you have that monthly or weekly or whatever close that ends up being, that shooting star doji or whatever it's called, and then it just fucking keeps going,
Yeah.
I feel like it happens like that extremely frequently.
Trading a monthly in crypto is like trading the yearly on the S&P. It just doesn't give you enough signals. And the signals it gives
Yeah.
You know, you find out they're right or wrong. You're so far offside by the time you get a signal. It's like, well, I guess it was bullish. I'll buy it 7,000. Like, you gotta, you know, I don't even look at the monthlies, to be honest. I find them interesting. People post them. I'm like, give me a weekly W. You know, weekly
Weekly's
reversal. It's very good. Like you say, right? You don't look 2 years out.
How about? I mean, guys, that's the beauty of markets and charts and stuff. I mean, you looked at what Bitcoin was doing with, you know, the peak and then a bounce and then a lower one, and you kind of look at that next to what happened at 6,000 a couple of years ago, and everyone thought 6,000 was it, but then you saw the dip. I mean, this just mentally fucked everybody who could not get that fractal out of their heads.
Yeah.
I mean,
there were some really cool fractals that were bullish, though. I saw a couple. I don't have them on hand. It would be cool if I did. But I saw a couple really nice ones that just showed this matching up with like a 618 extension pullback and then continue. There's just a lot of people out there. They sold the top. You know, I know a lot of the bears that were staying bearish here. They were staying bearish because they fucking nailed it. And they were like, yeah, not only did I short the top, but I'll tell you it's not time yet. And they were just kind of euphoric, and they probably had a great trade. You know, I'm thinking of this guy on Twitter, Inverse Bull. Don't know him, don't follow him, but people keep posting his stuff. He's so bearish. And he did apparently, you know, tell everyone that follows him to dump it at 52, 54. And but the charts he's posting are just wrong. You know, he posted like a macro look at Bitstamp's volume. He's like, look, there's no buy volume. I'm like, bro, nobody trades on Bitstamp. You know, go look at Bitcoin on FTX and tell me that volume looks dead. I mean, that's where people are trading right now. And look at that buy volume on the weekly. I mean, that exceeds any buying that's ever been done on FTX. But it's weird because you actually don't get that anywhere else right now. So I'll take that with a grain of salt. Like every other exchange looks like this. But somebody on FTX is mega long on Bitcoin right now.
Alex Weiss. No, there was. I saw, and I think it was Altcoin Psycho, who's a big supporter and friend of Hxro. I saw him post something in response to something Alameda Sam had said, and he asked. There was a $54 million market buy.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that tweet.
He said, "Was this you guys?" And Sam said, "Fuck no, it wasn't us." Like, what are you talking? You know, we don't. You know, typically
market buy
like that. You know, it's not us. So everybody was like, "Yeah, that's Weiss." Like,
yeah. Now look, you know, out of respect of just being an analyst, he could be right. You know, dude could be right. We're coming into weekly resistance and we just poop out, and then we like something changes. We have a bear market. Okay, we'll give him that. But the analysis, like he's like, well, we don't have the breakout buy volume like we used to back in those days. I'm like, that's Bitstamp, bro. Bitstamp was a big deal in 2016. I
mean, if that chart
it's not a big deal.
Continue to print green weeklies from here, like this is going to be the most Bitcoin chart that I've ever, you know, cycle that I've ever seen. You know,
yeah, it would be weird, but we are at weekly resistance. So, like, is this a place where I say, like, yeah, like this is where we do what we're doing right now, which is like, man, we're going to your highs. But look, this is. I got to say, from the day that this whole bearish shit started, and we've talked about this, I've talked to Dan about this. All I could say, and we've talked about it in the newsletter ad nauseum at HeroLabs.io. If you guys haven't signed up, I missed it this week because I was in the hospital. Sue me. Sucks too because it was a great one. I was looking forward to writing it.
We will.
But we're gonna have to follow up next week because it's a good time to be following up that newsletter. We had a lot of things come in. But this is where debates happen between bulls and bears, right? Are we a bear? Well, you can't decide that down here. You have to have those decisions made at retests. That's sort of what was my theory. That's how I trade. That's how I see the market. And we are coming into that debate area right now. So the cat, in a weird way, I hate to say it, guys, the cat's not fully out of the bag yet. We've got to reclaim a weekly level. We've reclaimed one, and it looks really good, and I'm staying long. But if you're thinking about getting long at this weekly resistance for the first time since the dip, you're probably doing it wrong. That's all I'm going to say. It may age well. It may age well. But on the whole, probabilities over time, you're doing it wrong. You got to be bullish at supports, cautious at resistance, and once we get into price discovery, you know, send it. Like there's no resistance. But you know, we've reclaimed a weekly level, so I think it looks really good. but this is the weekly throwback that I've been watching for like 3 months now, saying like, when we get up here, we'll find out if it's a bull or a bear. So,
go ahead, Rob.
No, it feels to me, because it does feel so good, and we've come a long way pretty quickly.
Yeah,
it does. Like, it feels to me like we could have a nasty pullback. Things would still be bullish, whatever.
They'd be very bullish. Yeah,
people would be freaking out. Guys like Messi, it'll pull out some emotions and like shit where he'll even be like, "Holy fuck, this thing's gonna nuke again." Like,
yeah,
I think we've got to come to expect some of that, even though we might just beeline it to all-time highs. The Dow, the Nasdaq, everything might just march from here, but that's not. If that does happen, it's not like that's a 70% probability event. I think after this sort of run, we got to kind of expect a little bit of a rest or a pullback, not be surprised by a sharp $5,000 dump in Bitcoin. I don't know.
Once it gets levered up, before new highs, I bet we get one, because that's just the market checking, right? That's the market saying like, there's this many participants that are going to make that play. They're going to trade that short, and they're going to win because on this particular little leg, we are running out of, probably buyers. And so, I think the sellers will step in at some point and outweigh, and then it's going to be, pump chaser zone, man. That's so it's not even about like, okay, do I want to short this just in case? I actually don't. I want to sideline a little bit, maybe just to be a trader and look at it. But the risk reward is still to the upside. Like I like being long here. But if we get up here and it looks weak and maybe we see a little swing failure pattern, bearish market structure, retest, like, I'll take a short, I'll hedge my shit. And then let's get into this pump chaser zone, which that would be the 382, the 0.5. And that's probably something like we see here. But this will be ugly. This will be bearish. It'll be bad news. It'll be red and for days. And next time you want to puke, next time you're just like, oh, we got scammed again. That's when you deploy whatever fucking dry powder you're sitting on the trigger finger today thinking about. Like, that's when I will do what I want to do today, which is just add leverage and go longer. I'll do that next time, shit looks really bleak, which I think will happen one more time before we go to highs. But if it doesn't, I'm staying long. The only shorts I'm taking is hedging futures risk. Like, I'm not selling spot. I'm not getting out too much. Let's talk about the hash ribbons indicator. This thing is a lot of fun. It's a high time frame, indicator. It's not going to give you signals very often. And if we look here, let's get a little bit of this ink. We'll focus our chart here. If you look here, it's not bad. This is Coinbase. I think Bitstamp gives more signals, goes back a little further, but a couple of signals here where miners, capitulate, then come back online. It's a buy signal. Not a bad entry for what came next. Not a bad entry for what came next here after basically what we just saw, right? And this is that 2016. What was 2016? Was this is the not Gox, China banned Bitcoin or something, and that buy signal front ran the entire bull market of 2017. Same thing down here, right at the bottom, gives a beautiful buy signal, and then we got 4 buy signals last year. The last one coming up around 13K. Was that still a decent entry? We went to 65. Well, we got our first one of 2021 this week. And I've never seen one of these signals come where we didn't go on some big stupid run afterwards. So that's a really
going back how
really
far?
Exciting point. Going back indefinitely. Watch, we'll go back to Bitstamp, and I know I just shit on Bitstamp because whatever. It's just not as popular anymore. But I do like the chart because it goes back, it has good history. Buy signal. Now, if you got that here, this is a weekly. So that was like the one shit signal back in 2012 at $5. We went sideways for like a year, probably down quite a bit. Then it gave another one. Then it gave another one somewhere through this. We gave another one here. And so like here, you get the signal at 228 in February. It didn't really move until October. So this is not like let's go leverage along this week at this level. But was this level in general where 3 different buy signals fired, was that a nice place to be accumulating? Yeah. Same here. Big, huge dump. So miners capitulate. Then they recover. Buy signal. big dump, miners capitulate, buy signal, and then you just saw like on the other chart 4 of them last year. So we just had that, right? We had the miners offline in China, capitulate, they're back online. It's a buy signal. So everything else aside, this is the thing in the newsletter I said in June 22nd when we got this capitulation. I said, when this thing fires by, like my dry powder is getting deployed on the next dip. Key part of that. Because I don't want to have to sell, buy at 46 and then want to shake out at 38. Like, I'm just going to wait for that. And if it doesn't come, well, it didn't come, whatever. We're going to moon if it doesn't come. So, feels good, guys. It feels good. It's not euphoric, though. I'll tell you what. It feels good. I feel really good, but I don't feel euphoric. Not yet. I'm not shaking. I'm not checking my thing. I'm not showing my lady the gains. Like, I'm not doing all those things we do, right, when we get stupid. We're not stupid yet. We're at a bearish retest. Euphoria is like, it's new highs easily. Like, you can't call euphoria when you haven't even hit new highs. But if people are feeling really fucking good and they're mistaking that for euphoria, I get it. It does feel really good. Let's look at the Dixie, man. The Dixie was threatening this week. It bounced off this trend line. I thought, we got this nice wedge. We broke down. We're finally going to go visit this big inefficiency. And we just like bounced up. So the Dixie's been hard to trade. I don't actually trade it, but it's been, as a signal and a proxy towards crypto. For those of you who don't know, if the Dixie rallies big time, that's usually bad for assets that trade against the dollar. Stocks, all that stuff. So it's being a little weird right now. It just had like 6 green days in a row while everything else made new highs. So
I'm not too concerned about the Dixie.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Jack Sparrow, once upon a time, a good buddy of mine, very smart analyst, he's like, yeah, it's not impossible to see a world where Bitcoin just rallies with it. Like, it's, there was a time when it's like nobody knows what Bitcoin is, so it's going to just be a little more at the whim of these other markets. But there's a certain kind of like cat out of the bag level that we could reach where Bitcoin goes full honey badger and doesn't care. Why aren't you concerned about it though, Rob?
I don't know. The same way I wasn't concerned about it when, like, it was crazy rallying. I think there's more to the puzzle than just the dollar rallying against all the other sovereign currencies in that basket. Like, just because the dollar's rallying, I mean, doesn't mean that like fiat in general is rallying against harder assets, but you got to dig deeper. And usually when the dollar sees all that flow, it's usually there is a reason, right? So you just throw everything out the window and say, when the shit goes down, money flows into the dollar. So it doesn't necessarily have to be dollar against Bitcoin type of thing. It just could be like so much money just flowing into dollars because the shit hit the fan. And that's what's going on.
I mean, you can see why people look at it, right? We had, we had the Dixie down, we had the Bitcoin up, then we had the Dixie start to rally, and that was the bear market. And then we went down on the Dixie, and that's when Bitcoin rallied. So there has been an inverse correlation, but like you said, there's a lot more going on, and it's not a great thing to just chart and trade, 1-to-1. But
yeah,
I chart it because, especially when there's no particular catalyst. I think when it's a quiet market and there's no real reason for value to change, absentee news, absentee signals, people will just start to trade on correlations like the stock market, like the Dixie. But
yeah, for sure.
So what are the names you guys are looking at? We are getting to the top of the hour, and I do have to get back to the hospital.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you forever.
But it's all good. I've got an hour to be there, so like I've got about 15 minutes left on the thing here. I'll tell you the one thing I am looking at. I asked the question and then I answer it for you, but you guys think about that while I go down sort of my favorite play right now is this basket. Now I started off picking all these up, Uni started breaking out. So I picked that up, sushi. I will admit I did sell my basket, like my cross leverage basket last weekend. And I was like, for better or worse, I posted in the Discord, I'm going to exit this here and look to reload because of the DeFi stupid infrastructure bill. And I was up a nice chunk and I just thought I'm going to capture that, a 70% gain on this little futures account. However, I've still got my spot bags, which are a little bigger, so it's all good. Serum Sushi, Uniswap, 1inch, BNT, all of these guys, AMMs, DeFi, all moving in unison. Look at this squiggly though. Rob, you remember you remember this balancer squiggly we've been tracking? I wrote it for fun. Like, this is how bottoms form, but now I kept it there because it's just like, it's having fun right now. KNC, one of your faves, Robert Levy, to the principal's office. You've got a decent, so what's the play? Well, watch Uni because it leads. It's the biggest one. And then people say, oh, damn, AMMs are breaking out. Sushi's number 2. And if those two run, which they are running, then all of the ones that look just like it are going to follow. And they've all broken out, but these two haven't, KNC.
RT, something that I haven't used in a while, that I saw you use very successfully, pretty much calling, that Bitcoin was going to go up, before most people, was that 20-period RSI.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of indicators, of course, RSI gets a bad rap because it's one of the most widely used. A lot of noobs use it. And they make assumptions about overbought and oversold. So RSI gets a bad rap. But the truth is that RSI is actually one of the few indicators that does have predictive qualities, which is really interesting. And if you apply that 20-period RSI on the daily to a lot of these DeFi charts, I still remember when you were showing me that the RSI had broken out in Bitcoin, and I was just like, I'm not seeing it on the chart yet. I'm not seeing it on the, I don't think so. I don't believe it, right?
It front ran too by like 12 hours.
No, yeah, it front ran big time.
Yeah.
We're seeing that same structure, those big RSI channels break out on a lot of DeFi stuff. You can see it on synthetics.
Okay, talk to me. Let's take a look at some.
Dude, the curve one is insane. Like, if you look at curve,
I love that. I'm so balls deep in curve.
The fit there is so good. Curve is one of the cheapest, DeFi blue chips. I don't think anybody can say with $10 billion in total value locked that Curve is not a blue chip.
It is. It's just a weird inflation thing. I think it's always kind of struggled to price up.
Curve has something going on this month that no one's talking about, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just because the added people are still just not subscribed to DeFi running here. But the RSI says that DeFi is going to run, if we draw the trend lines and we observe the breakout, just like we did with Bitcoin, et cetera, for one. And then two,
Curve this was a sick level.
Curve's inflation's always plagued it, but that inflation, those emissions, we're seeing our first reduction ever this month.
Okay.
And I believe that's towards the middle of the month. So, we're talking about reduced selling pressure on Curve.
I like that. That's because that's always been its issue, right? I mean, we can. Oh, this is SNX. I'm stupid. SNX looks good though. Let's go take a look at Curve.
But if you actually draw the trend lines and if you don't match them up, the Curve one is much more obvious. I'll send you the.
Yeah, let's take a look.
The other one.
Oh, there you go. I mean, it's already kind of broken out, had its retest, but it was there. Look, the RSI signal came here. That's why I love the RSI. They don't actually teach it at TRI explicitly. It's not one of the modules, but there's a lot of guys there who use it, and I've learned it and picked up from other people. But like, I'm starting to really love it because for all these indicators are mostly lagging, the RSI does lead, right? It broke out here and retested while price hadn't really done anything significant. And then what happens 2 weeks later? Like, boop, boop, boop. And now it's just
can't
confirmed.
See how that doesn't fucking launch. Like, it's
it only just confirmed. It kind of confirmed its second structure here. Let's just kill this ink. Like, first structure, low, higher, low, breakout, retest, done. And then, but it came into this resistance here, and it just confirmed that close yesterday. And now it's like, if you weren't convinced, here's another confirmed bullish structure. So it looks like we're just going to start playing this game where we start taking out all these levels here.
The thing is, though, when you look at Bitcoin, when you look at AXS, when you look at most of DeFi, they all have that same chart, though, right?
They all look the same. Yeah.
It went sideways. It dumped. You got this same kind of triple bottom-y looking thing, down there. And then when you look at AXS, just explosive fucking upside. I can't imagine if we were going to get a DeFi season here, why it would mirror that. why the entire crypto market would mirror that. One of the really interesting things that I've seen in this bull run as opposed to other bull run, I guess it's just a matter of improved liquidity, but when we trend really hard. The dips aren't as bad. The upside is extremely aggressive. It happens over a short period of time. We're in a situation here where, if DeFi really does decide to go, if shitcoins decide that, hey, we're going to give it another go, I mean, everybody could be in a totally different financial bracket in 2 months. Which is something it's hard to fathom here looking
Talk
at this.
dirty to me.
But
well,
that just looks like it's jumping down on a trampoline. Like it's,
yeah, you know what I love? I mean, you've seen my fibs now for months, but this is it, right? It's through here, people, and I get nervous. You're like, oh, should I buy more? Should I, do I sell? I'm like, I don't know, man. Just buy the fucking reload zone. If you can make a living buying bullish assets when they're in their bearish states back in these levels, and it's hard to do. We just went through it. It was not fun. This sucked. This was months of more down because you usually only buy after a bounce. If you can train yourself to pick up these 786s, these 702s, these 886s on some coins, and then just chill and just enjoy your life and just know, do some fundamental research. Don't invest in trash. So that if the market all goes, your coin won't be like, oops, I was a scam. If there's some simple rules that are hard to follow that over time through these cycles will just put you in position. And one of those simple rules, and this is, again, simple rule as in it's a very simple concept, but it's hard to do, is to take profit. Pay yourself. Because if you didn't pay yourself up here on whatever coin it was, you had a really hard time deploying capital at the right time. But the paying myself I did up here felt gross. And for a little while I was wrong. It kept going higher. And I left gains on the table. But I was in the mental state to start aggressively buying through this shit. And
dude, hilarious in the chat.
Looks good. What's going on in the chat? What's happening? We had a troll. Somebody deleted all his stuff. I missed it. I was
sad. Good one. I really like that.
I gotta. What happened?
Great. No, it's a good comment. Winner in training. Nate Smith. It's hilarious.
Look, let's talk CVX. You shit on my CVX buy a couple weeks ago, Messi, and you even put one of those.
That's okay.
Yeah, you put one of those nerdy remind me of this tweet kind of things, and it actually kind of for a half second I was like, fuck, he's gonna remind me in a week when I bought the top.
It was a joke. Oh my god!
I didn't sell. I didn't sell though.
So I did the remind door.
Yeah.
Because the Twitter reply guys, they love saying remind me about this. And you actually made a permanent mental note. That's impressive.
Well, I was thinking about it the other day because I wanted to put one on you. I wanted to go find that tweet and be like, remind me, bitch. Because you did.
I deserve it.
It was here. It was this crazy pump, which apparently was Tetranode basically saying, sorry, guys, you missed it. He bought $6 million worth. And so when
what the fuck? I'm actually mad at him about that because, if he had... Tetranode came in and bought 1 million Convex. If he hadn't have fucking done that, then I would have gotten my entry. We were getting close to it.
He kicked off the bull. Yeah, he kicked off the bull. And so Fozzie, some guys in the Discord, they've all been liking this thing, and I liked it. I wanted some, and so I went in here and just started getting real greedy at this 618. Chop. I think I added 369 the other day, and man, every time I look at this thing, number up. So, and this is I don't know the exact dynamic. Curve is way too complicated for a pleb like me to understand, but I'll tell you this, it's undervalued compared to Curve, and it's very tied at the hip to Curve, so I'm pumped for this thing.
Yeah, I mean, Convex is a fantastic project, and to have the stamp of approval from the actual Curve team is actually huge. So I really appreciate Convex in the sense that it's symbiotic to Curve, and we've discussed this before, but one of the biggest issues with Curve is it was too gigabrain for your average Joe to use.
Yeah.
And not everybody
included. I was just like, no.
Shit, me too. And I've been doing this forever. I mean, you go into the website's outdated as fuck. And everything's confusing, and they're using all these I understand that now, but at the same time, for any kind of new user, it's extremely intimidating. So to grow Curve's TVL, to get more value locked in Curve, Convex is almost like the yearn of Curve, but with better token economics. One of the really interesting things here is that with Curve, to get the best yield, you've got to lock your curve up in these gauges, right? And you've got to lock it up for an extended period of time. Well, the issue is I might have $1 million of USDC, but I don't have enough curve to get the best yield out of that. So what the fuck am I going to do? How am I going to make that work for me? That's where Convex steps in. Convex has a very, very large number of curve under its control that they deposit and they control and they allocate. And I can just come in with my dollars now, and I can leverage their curve power to get better yield, get these multipliers. So it's a fantastic project, and it's locking up a lot of curve. It's bringing a lot of value to curve.
Yeah.
And because of that, a lot of these other projects, Badger, Farm, are using Convex as this new kind of primitive yield layer. So definitely some interesting possibilities there. I've got a bunch of friends in it. Ledger Status is really big on it. He thinks it's going to $20, and I think he could be right.
Is he? Okay, I always like hearing that. When
he's a
friends,
super technical guy like you.
Yeah.
He trades the charts and he's got a system.
Yeah, like I mean, look, if you did a bit more what I did, and I didn't play this quite as perfectly. Obviously, I didn't add more at this reload zone. I just thought, okay, well, I've already got a bunch at this level. I'm going to wait, and it started to break out again, so I added. But you can play it that way, where you say, okay, huge volume off the lows, wait for the reload zone, load up. That's how I generally play things. But then there's also just these guys who like to wait for the reclaims, right? Support, breakdown, resistance, and now we've just broken out of that. And so once you reclaim this kind of a range low, if you want to call it that, or just this key support, you just get into upside price discovery. And this thing, I wouldn't set it up exactly like this, but just as an idea, you're looking at risk reward in the double digits.
Dude, when you look at some of these charts, versus Ethereum versus Bitcoin, like they're absolute insanity. Check out and I know you.
I don't do that enough.
Very soon. Look at the Keep chart versus BTC.
This one's,
it's fucking ridiculous.
The only way I can get access to Keep right now is on Binance Perps because of where my liquidity is, and I'm like, it's a little late for the Perps. But yeah, let's go take a look at that one. Like it's late on the day for the Perps. Let's go see Keep BTC because the volume coming in this thing is insane.
And you may have to do ChartX.
I'm gonna have to add that. Oh, this is Coin Paprika. No, we want to get the.
Yeah, you got to get the. They don't have the full history.
Yeah, there you go.
On Coin Paprika, you gotta.
Whoop. Yeah, there we go.
You gotta do the CoinMarketCap source.
Oh, there's a whole other section. Yeah, look, I mean, just looking at this volume, you're like, okay, is this project dead? Nope. Does the price look dead? Yup. But it's not. And you have to look at volume. What do you know about the project, though? Fundamentally, is this thing decent?
It's Thorchain and Ren competition, to my understanding. We're talking about a private computation layer, and they have some really, really big money investors like Andreessen Horowitz,
Damn,
and others. So it's, for me, that's just kind of something that was almost forgotten. They continue to build. They've got a catalyst in that they're merging with NuCypher. There's going to be a new coin called T, capital T. And basically, you're going to be able to convert your NuCypher tokens, your NU, and your Keep tokens to this new token. And they're trying to deliver the premier trustless Bitcoin bridge, cross-chain bridge to the ecosystem. One of the issues with Ren, although it's one of my favorite projects, is the aim of Ren was to decentralize this whole idea of bridging. Because the thing is if I have to require a trusted intermediary, like with WBTC, then that abandons the principles of decentralization. That's kind of what we're all about here, doing it decentralized so you continue to kind of maintain custody and have that security over your assets. So Keep is something that aims to be the first project that accomplishes just that. And I believe they're close. They say that their solution is far beyond anyone else. So for me, I was just thinking of it.
We're better than Ren and Thorchain, basically.
Yeah, I was thinking of it in the sense that there's big investors. They just got listed on Binance like a month ago, which is awfully suspicious. Binance seemed to list a bunch of these DeFi coins about a month ago, almost in preparation.
Capture that.
So Binance,
that's a good signal.
Coinbase, it's wrecked as fucking shit, versus BTC, whatever. If we get out of that range there at the bottom, there's just nothing to stop it from going up. I mean, absolutely nothing. So I figured, fuck, why not punt in this? Nobody's talking about it. They have been building. They've got the investor base. They're on Coinbase. They're on Binance. What if this could be
and bullish market
that's a big
structure?
win?
Yeah, bullish market structure versus Bitcoin is only confirming today. So it's not late versus Bitcoin. The reason I was saying it's a little late for me on perps is because I look over here and I just think, do I want to have leverage into that? I really struggle to hold leverage with that. 30, 31, arguably, we confirm structure here. So this kind of like hovering here for a bit. So again, this was me in the hospital. So I was like, you texted me this morning. I was like, bro, I don't have liquidity anywhere I can buy keep. I only have some left on FTX. And
I'm texting me setups while I'm away from my liquidity.
Pretty much. I can ape into it on Binance or FTX, but my Binance bags are full and FTX doesn't have it. But I'm home now. I might ape in from my ETH wallet.
One of the largest holders of Keep.
Who's that?
Trading.
Ooh, Robbie likes them.
Well,
they might just be market making, but they're one of the largest holders. You can see that on Nansen.
Yeah, you do have to watch their wallets, right? Because like they've been loading up hundreds of millions of dollars in tokens, and you're just thinking, that's probably just part of their business plan. It's not like they're investing.
I think this is their investment wallet because it's the same one that holds the Hxro token. They've also got a very large synthetics position.
Okay.
And a couple of other things as well. Audio. I literally, so one of the ways that I do research is looking at these big fund wallets, seeing what they have really, really strong convictions in, because I'm going to assume that they have access to some kind of asymmetric information that I don't.
Yeah.
In some cases. So that's exactly what I did. I was going through Jump's wallet. There's a lot of interesting stuff in there with size as well.
Well, or just that they have rich friends. Like they're the kinds of people who decide what thing's going to get a shot. And if they load up their bags, it's like we always say, get long with the smart money. There's some really great projects out there that I'm like, oh, this is so promising. And there's just no volume. They don't have the right friends. They're not in bed with the right people.
If you actually draw the diagonal, between those two peaks at the top, though, that was something that was very interesting to me.
Right here or just recently?
Or the diagonal from that really early high, that we haven't even gotten close to in a long time. Basically just connect the tops.
Yeah.
Or even further. Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah. Well, we've moved through this a long time ago. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off, mate.
I wasn't even talking. Yeah, not that one for sure. That's that BS like listing pump.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, well now we're poking through the more recent one, and we're at resistance. So we're in a squeeze, and the volume tells me that this squeeze will break up. So I don't want to overthink it. And again, perps, I'm like funding. It's all this shit. So I'm gonna just take some out of my. I do have some liquidity in an ETH wallet. I just didn't have my ledger, but I have it now. So let's fucking do it. Let's go. After the stream, that's going on my short list. It's the only thing I'll have time for. I'm pretty long on this market, so I'm not trying to get into things that have been really crushing. But looking at this chart, call me in 6 months. We'll see where it's at. It's either going to be in the same fucking range or it's going to be.
Oh my god, I've seen that happen before too.
Yeah, like okay, cool, but it's in the range. I'm down to 20-30% max. Like, I think it's got a 6x kind of thing in it. Like some stupid. If it breaks, it's going to break hard. Volume precedes price. So
I think on average we're going to see 6-7x out of DeFi here. When we're talking about big stuff.
The big stuff, yeah, and then you'll get some echoes on the little shitters, the ones that go. They'll probably
you're going to have your 10. 20x.
It's hard to 100x. 500 million, 1 billion market caps, but you give me some of those 20 mils. We're going to see some nasty stuff this year, I think. This is exciting, guys. It's so good to be back into some like dopamine markets.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, you just take your hits when you get them.
It's kind of hard to believe. The one thing that this the last 3-4 months, I think the last 6 months really reminds us is this market it's gotten a lot more liquid, but it's still not as liquid as we think it is. And you always have to remember that these prices can move a lot farther than you think they could, like rationally. It's
higher than you think, lower than you think.
Yeah. And like I said, Bitcoin's the same thing we thought it was 3 months ago, right? Even after it gets shellacked and it's trading 32,000 and everything looks just like death. It really is the same. It's the same thing. I mean, the emotions of illiquid markets, they get really, really extreme like quickly. And I know you're not feeling the same euphoria you felt, but this is a different play. Like, it's a different movie we're watching. Your characters now live through that whole euphoric move through all-time highs at 20K up to like, so I don't know if that's the best barometer or like calibration to use. And you just, man, it's truly amazing how the markets have like lives of their own, and it's never always the same, but opportunities are just always there the next day.
Yeah, well, that's what we say a lot on this show, right? There's always going to be another trade. The market's not going anywhere, but your capital will if you don't protect it. If you don't do what I always say at the end of every stream, always play from a position of strength. I mean, just play from strength. Yeah. Period. But get greedy and long at the lows. Yeah. Get cautious and a little profit take you at the highs, and then miss some of the rally. Cool, but you're playing from strength, and compounding gains are so incredible. They start slow, you can't see them. And then one day you're, last year you were trading lunch money, and the next year you're trading salaries, and the next year you're like, I don't even know who I am anymore.
One thing
I'm not there yet, by the way. That was not a flex. I'm just saying that's where we're headed.
No, one thing about Messi, which to me was just so kind of, it was so interesting and not funny, but amusing, is I said it, like, the thing about him, he'll turn on a dime, and because he's so good at finding like real value and real gems, he'll find the best DeFi coin or shitcoin to buy, and it'll 5x, 10x, and it'll make up for like missing out on the first 10% of the rally, like that. And that is extremely important here.
Being able to flip.
Yeah. Find stuff that like really can move.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, there was some guys chirping you on my stream last week. They said, "Did you check in on Messi RT? Like, how's he doing? Like, he was so bearish." I'm like, dude, he's going to be fine. There's a pretty good chance he'll outperform me through this coming bull cycle, because I'll be Mr. Cautious and at the reload zones and all this shit, and I'll be taking profit, and you'll be sitting there like pounding your chest with 10x bags. Like, when the season comes, you'll be all right. I have no doubt about it.
One of my strengths is having very, very strong convictions, but so that also
a blessing and a curse. It's
absolutely
that cursed you through the bear, and
I can ride a bag up higher than people think it's going to go. And the funny thing is, in the past, I didn't have hands that strong. So I mean, this cycle at least, I think that I'm going to just be more aware of that, and I think that the only way you end up making out like a king, and it's funny and a bit ironic, because this is something that I did leading into February of this year, and I got a lot of backlash for it, but I said, hey, I'm going to start selling like 1% of my portfolio a day over the next 2 months.
I remember
Everything was going nuts.
Yeah. You're the ape king. Why would you do that?
What the fuck? Why are you so that?
Stupid bear.
The issue is that, I thought DeFi, when I thought of shitcoins, when I thought about even DeFi, we're just using shitcoins loosely here. In the past, what I've seen, we've got this parabolic rise up and then a blow off. And then that didn't happen. So my biggest mistake there was that I redeployed capital that I legitimately sold the top on and ended up getting wrecked on after that, because I saw this going sideways and I was like, holy shit, we're consolidating for another big move up. Like, I need to be allocated. And that ended up being the wrong call.
Yeah, it was tough, man. When Bitcoin rolled over, KSM, DOT, every major coin, Aave, well, no, but they were all pushing to new highs after 2 months of consolidation on high volume. Like, it looked like we were just like, rocket ship. And that's actually what had everyone looking left when we should have been looking right at Bitcoin, which had just come into a complacency shoulder right here. I mean, I distinctly recall it because I had a chart. I put it out on the Hero Labs Twitter, and I was like, damn, we're at range highs. Looks awfully complacent. 59K. We're in the short reload zone. And then I was like, yeah, but, 10 10,000 really nice altcoins just made new highs on new high volume, and we're just going to moon. And then this dumped, and everything else fell apart.
We're going to make it.
Yeah, I'll show you exactly what I was looking at, and then we got to flip back to studio for a sec. This is what everything else was doing at the time that Bitcoin was on the complacency shoulder. They were breaking to new highs on new volume, and it looks so fucking good. It was almost like someone planned it to get everyone nice and frothy.
What the fuck is that chart, though? I've just never seen charts like that in shitcoins before.
And then it just died. Yeah. So,
I've never seen, what the fuck is that even?
So, and here's, how, like, people got really hurt through here. They got really hurt. They capitulated their bags. They got depressed here. They said, okay, my long in the market, signature kind of trade is this kind of thing, right? Get off the lows on some volume, get that reload zone. But then the next trade is here. We just flipped that support. And then everyone here is talking about taking profit, talking about euphoria. Like, this is just the start if it's a rally. This is just the start.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the chart's flat. Like, I have no doubt that at some point DeFi ends in a parabolic blow off.
All moves do, right? All the moves do. They end parabolic. They end parabolic down.
Just this looking at that, though, I mean, what the fuck is that chart? Like, once again, and I know I keep saying that, but what the fuck is that? Like, how?
It's a nasty chart. It's like we say, like, people love to say, I wish I was here in 2017. You guys were so lucky. Like, bro, 2017 was not fun or easy. It had fun moments, like namely the last 3 weeks of December, where literally everything.
There's a lot of pain in 2017 too.
There was a ton of pain,
violent swings.
I bought the all-time high when I started crypto. I bought $1,800 Bitcoin, and it was at the all-time highs. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, oh, just fucking get some. And it dumped 30% on the first weekend that I owned a lot. And this was my savings. Like, I had $2K to my name. I was living in a basement. And I put it all in, and I even took out a little loan. Don't try that at home. I usually don't tell people that. But I took out a little credit line because I was like, fuck it. I don't have enough money to make it, and this thing's going to be huge. And I bought it at 18 or 2100, and it dumped 30% the day that I crammed that loan in.
Oh, boy.
I woke up to a 30% drawdown, and I was like, fucking substitute teacher, bro. Yeah, it was not easy. And then we had the Bcash fork, and we had the China ban. Like, every one of those was potentially going to be the high. So if you're still here, and if this did some damage to you, this is just par for the course, guys. This is normal shit. And this is the beginning. You can see it in the volume across the market. Mark my words.
Some big volume there.
Very high probability this is the beginning of another leg, and it's going to be a fib extension of the last one at least.
Oh, gosh.
At least. And if we can really get greasy, which usually you do on the second leg or third leg, you get a stronger move. We got to start thinking about chaos levels, and those.
Man, Abe's going to $2,000-3,000. I have no doubt.
Chaos levels are where the real sex is at. That's where you're getting up into $2,000 and $3,000. And looking back, when you say, like, at the end of some year, you're like, holy fuck, like, that's euphoria. That's crypto, right? When you get into things that even the bulls at these levels were like, I didn't even see that coming. Like.
And that looks so normal when you've smashed it down. It's no longer like a what the fuck is this? Like, it looks like, it's just
and then
we went down a little bit, and then we fucking blew up. Like, we went up big.
Or whatever it is. And this was all a test pump, right? This was, you're like, oh, it's a bull, and then it's like, holy fuck, and then one last leg, and then we blow off top. And just to be clear, guys, this is the end of the move, not the beginning. This is not a new paradigm here. This is where you better be getting paid. If it ever gets to these levels, don't fucking buy it. Sell it. Wait for the depression. This is the depression we're coming out of. I feel good about it. I'm spot long and spot strong, and I have a son. So there you go. It's a good day.
Let's go.
Let's go, boys. Speaking of which, I should probably go back to the hospital.
Yeah, let's get back to the studio.
Yeah. We're in the studio. It's been a blast, guys. It's so good to have you guys all back on here on a Wednesday. We got a big squad now. We can feel the dopamine coming in. You can see it in the numbers. So if you haven't already, like the video, sub to the channel, hit the notification bell. I know I keep talking about going twice a week. Obviously, this week I got a special surprise, so I'm going to have to delay that twice a week stream, at least until I'm back home. For now, though, we got DeltaFi today. The show goes on, must go on. Any final thoughts, Robert Levy?
Man, it feels so good that you're almost waiting to kind of for the shoe to fall. But
we're hedging, bro.
Bottom line, you just need to don't freak out on these dips. There's going to be dips. It's not going to be 10 out of 12 up days or 10 in a row. Or so just keep the emotions in check here. But I think we're going to see something special, like in terms of a move. But don't get washed out at the beginning. That's for sure. So
yeah, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because we will hit a 382 at some point, right? You move up, like we'll get that first test pullback. It could probably last a couple of days. I don't want to be tempted to sell that. Yeah. And I don't want to be tempted to take my profits, but take them late. So I will be skimming some bags up into these short reload zones, like that. Well, I've just been drawing them all freaking straight. Yeah. When we get into those, I'll because that's a trade, right? I was buying the lows. We're going to take some at those highs, so that that's your position of strength. We get into the pump chaser zones. I have dry powder. I have, I'm not sick to my stomach because I just gave up 40% of my recent gain. And that's that pump chaser zone where I'm really going to be, powder's mostly going to be in. And then, worst case, I take that profit. We just kind of push to highs and we retest. I'll have to get back long again. But
I'll be honest.
It's a high R trade.
Here's something that I think about when, if DeFi names like that, like pure Ethereum DeFi, if names like that really, really push hard, then in my mind, I'm wondering, are the names like ANC, Kyber Network, are the name who if you pull up that chart, it's still $1.85 right now. And the highs that made during the pumps were like 4.25. So we're looking at things that, even if Aave is going to pump, Aave's already back to 400 and some bucks. Like there are some, I believe you can find some low hanging fruit where you might be able to make 50%, 100% in short order. So,
yeah, all that. Yeah, like KNC. We'll flip back just for half a second because I want to illustrate your point. You're just basically saying like there's leaders and there's followers. KNC is probably the follower. In other words, it's got more room in short term.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah, and what it also has though is there's times when there's some dedicated buyers in there who come in and fucking sweep the book and buy with some size. So it's like I try to look for those sort of names where it's got history of getting sharp, aggressive flow, and it's like look for times when it is underperforming. It's
lagging. Well, that's my list, right? That's this list, right? Uni leads, Sushi leads, liquidity cycle within the sector, and KNC is at the bottom basically of that. It's one of the lower caps of these AMMs, and I don't have a bag of it right now. It was on that sort of AMM cross leveraged basket I had, but I have closed it. But now you got me thinking maybe I can just slip a little in there with no lick price and just ride it. Because look, this is not tops volume, right? It's like the bulls are waking up, but they're not.
But guess what?
We're not here yet. We're not here yet.
It's the thing that you don't have a bag of, but you're probably better off for not, because ideally you were in stuff that already kind of tripled. Like
Sushi's my biggest bag of that basket, and it's moving. Yeah,
and like Luna's tripled off the fucking low. That's stupid already. Luna, maybe it went too far, but we got that little.
Oh my god.
We got that signal from Novogratz who put a tweet out there. We were on that a month ago. Hopefully, ideally, and I think about Messi and Ledger when they talk about these cycles, but ideally you're on the right ones first. So if you get a double and a triple out of a bag, and then you get into something that's lagging,
become the liquidity cycle.
That starts to catch the bid, and you ride that, like you could stuff.
Now look at this. This is interesting because this is the squiggly that we've been looking at on Luna for a while. This was my thinking, right? You're coming off the lows. All I couldn't picture at the time is that we'll have a retest and then have to test. Well, we broke through, and what a clean bit of play here. I love that. I love TA. Like I just. You have a level on your chart. You're just like, well, if we flip that, I can buy the retest. I mean, this is why you do it. I didn't. I was at the friggin' hospital last couple of days, but like, get these, learn these concepts, guys, because you can start to play from strength on all these charts. And it's like, oh, I missed Luna's 2x. Well, you just caught a totally separate and very nice trade.
Yeah. But
All right,
I think we say that to say, look for some gems, do some research. Like now's the time. Like find some stuff that's really gaining value. That's I do think that,
Now, I should be on. That's a nice segue into plugging the Friday stream. I should be back on for Friday, Here Labs Live. Not guaranteeing it. I'm going back to hospital tonight, but I have a feeling things will be good and we'll be back home. Baby's staying in for like 4 or 5 weeks. He's just tiny. He's going to stay there. But I should be back in the driver's seat in a couple of days, and we're going to do that. We're going to look for some gems. We're going to do some scans, and we're going to see, what's cooked, what's cooking with grease, what's leading, and, if there's any laggers. Because at this point, if you're not trading the lag, you've probably missed some of the leaders. Like Luna up here, not that sexy to me. Even though, it could go to $50. It's not at a level right now. It's at the end of a move, is at least as far as trades go. So, but if you have Luna, I'm not calling bear on your coin. I'm just, you guys know, I mean, you watch long enough.
I'll tell you though, I think this is one of the episodes we spoke the least about Sam coins.
Yeah, we skipped on those, dude. And I could go a whole hour with you on Sam coins. FTT is at $50. It's already a double. If you bought
that FTT chart, dude.
If you bought FTT,
holy shit.
Oh, you got me talking about Sam coins now. Okay,
dude, how about fucking Mango with $500 million deposited in their
big? Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about. Like we can do a whole nother fucking 2-hour show right now talking about that shit.
Well, hey, I can always have guests on Hero Labs Live on Friday. So if you guys are feeling greasy and you got an hour off, you want to come in, but I'm going to be on there, and like FTT, just look at this signal though too. Like it literally just poked its head out. It confirmed that structure, this tiny little one. I posted on Twitter, thank God, so I get to have some clout now. But it was like $31, and I was like, this thing just confirmed bullish structure. Like, keep an eye on FTT, and it did not waste time. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they confirm and then dip and then go. This thing just said, no, I'm such a fucking bull.
And they're just beasts. They just raised $900 million. They just put the bottom in on Bitcoin spot. They just...
And so this is not the most exciting thing right now, right? Like, okay, so FTT moves. Like, cool story, bro. I missed it. Well, Solana's moving now. I mean, I inked that up today, but it's just got some breaking out. And if Solana moves and FTT moves, then everything about those two platforms are going to start moving. So now you have Ray. That's the lag we talked about, right? What's another one? We got Oxy. These are all in my basket. This is like the one thing that I've been loading up on, just dollar cost averaging, and it's starting. It's like, cue the "it's happening" gif. FIDA, one you just never hear about. I don't know why, but it's a strong play. Dan loves this one, and look at it. It's actually leading like the laggers. The Solana laggers. It's like it didn't even go down that far. Maps, another one. So yeah, find the Solana baskets. If Sol and FTT are killing it, you can expect these things to really run, and they'll probably be delayed by a week, so you get like a free look. All right.
Yes.
Discipline. I really should go. Guys, it's been a blast. Have at it. Enjoy this marketplace. Don't stop playing from a position of strength. There will be dips. There'll be pump chaser zones. It's pump chaser zone season, if you ask me. So we'll get those out on Friday and take a look at all this stuff. Until next time, be in the Discord. It's free. It's fun. And always play from a position of strength, guys. Take care.
See you.